Hello beautiful people around the world, My Space Secrets with another quick update, and I can tell you there is some very interesting things going on at the moment. One of those being gold now sitting at $900 an ounce. Wow. Now I did see gold it popped up about $41 an ounce this week, so as I said, the fundamentals always come out in the charts first. I would expect to see some major news come out this week. $40 increase for gold is a big move. Also for my Australian listeners, what is on the cards, I must tell you, is intensifying even for Australia lately, because over the weekend the new Rudd government is ready to pour $5 billion into special purpose vehicles and funds to ensure that our banks and other major companies will remain sound. But with all the foreign banks that are in trouble, they could be pulling out. So Australia and the government has offered to back up these banks and companies just in case the worst is to come. And obviously with the slowdown of China, that's tremendously having an effect on the way the Australian economy is working. It's been very hurtful. And you can liken it to going for a swim down the beach. There's no guarantees, but every day there's different, and the conditions can be rough and unpredictable. And just as history rhymes, we are still heading for a global depression. In fact, America is teetering on the very edge of that right now. And as you're listening to this, not too far away, we will see things that will step it up a notch. And like I predicted a few months back, there'll be what I call, or what I term, the second meltdown. And as things have been all about the banks and the financial institutes, things will now start spreading far, and not just the banking and finance sectors. This week was a major announcement by some of the big mining companies like BHP and Rio Tinto, where these are some of the biggest companies in Australia. And they have started slashing 4,500 jobs. It's insane. Just have a look at the commodity prices. They've been getting absolutely smashed. And of course things are expected to slow down even more. And you'll see some of these big job union companies that'll come forth and try to stop all this massive layoffs and massive unemployment. But you'll find that they'll do too little too late. You can't help it. These companies just aren't doing well enough to hire people and pay them what they used to. And you've got to feel sorry for the people that have been laid off with kids and mortgages and home loans and house loans, and because now it's not easy. The way the economy is now, you can't just go out down the road and apply for a job and get it the next day. So this is just adding to the problem. And in terms of the real economy and some of the big major global companies out there, it's going to be tough. But at the same time, it's going to be survival of the fittest, where only the really well managed companies will thrive and survive. But like I keep saying, these big major companies will go belly up as well. Even the ones you thought wouldn't go belly up, even companies like Kmart, which will collapse, and Sears, and some of these big business chains and restaurants, they're all in trouble. And it's all part of the second meltdown that will come. Plan A from the government was to recapitalize all the banks and save the banks, to help the world economies thrive back again. But Plan A didn't work. And just as the government have tried to recapitalize all these banks and save the banks, at the same time, what you have happening when these banks have been in trouble, you still have all these people losing their job and are debt burdened consumers, and they're struggling to pay off their mortgages, their car loans, their credit cards, and rising unemployment will only lead into more losses for these banks. So the government are really under a lot of stress in the next 6 to 12 months. And with the US government cutting rates to a record 0.25%, this was meant to strengthen the economy and encourage people to buy houses. I mean, the government can't keep cutting interest rates to zero and then minus, although it looks like they want to do that in anyway. But the inevitable is here, and just what happened back in the 1930s is going to happen again. Inflation that leads to hyperinflation, the cost of living will go up, and get ready for some really bad consequences. Get ready to see things that you have never seen in your lifetime as things continue to collapse and hyperinflation will begin to set in. Now, let's for a minute just talk about the US dollar and the way the US dollar has been reacting in the last couple of months. Now, I get a few emails from a lot of people saying, you said the US dollar was going to slide. And we have been seeing that, but now we are actually seeing a bit of a rally in the US dollar. And a lot of people don't understand why this is happening. Let me explain. Well, indeed, the prospect of a much weaker US dollar is a factor underpinning still high gold prices. But as the dollar declines, it gets cheaper for non-US investors to buy gold, so they can afford to bid up the US dollar price. But here's where you have to be warned. And it's happened before. It's exactly when most investors are convinced a market price can go only one way that it usually surprises them and goes the other way. But with the US dollar, you have to remember that currencies are relative price. They're a relative price. To sell the greenback means you must be willing to buy back something else. Yet other currencies at the moment are facing drastic problems. Just have a look at the problems in the UK and the euro. So yes, we could continue to see a rally in the US dollar, but longer term, all these bailouts, the printing off of the money, it's devaluing the dollar, and it's likely to come down even further. So get ready, prepare for the second meltdown coming as the US and worldwide continue to slide into a downwards depression. Prepare as best you can, hold tight. I'll give more updates as things continue their way to economic depression. God bless. Talk to you all very soon. Goodbye.